This is a Fox News alert. The suspect in the Benghazi terror attack that killed 4 Americans appeared in federal court today for the 3rd time since arriving on U.S. soil. And we are learning more and more about the case that the government is laying out against Khatallah. Fox's own Catherine Herridge is standing by in Washington tonight. She has the latest details. Catherine.
Sean, there seems to be a clear conflict between the court documents which describe the Benghazi assault as a premeditated conspiracy driven by the suspect Abu Khatallah's hatred of the U.S. and the administration's political explanation that it was a spontaneous response to the 2012 protests in Cairo over an obscure anti-Islam video. One government filing suggests that the plot was hatched even before the protests began across the Middle East and North Africa. In the days before the attack on September 11, 2012, the defendant voiced concern and opposition to the presence of an American facility in Benghazi. And the government documents go on to suggest that the plot was calculated and not spontaneous, and that the suspect, Khatallah, who was back in a D.C. federal court today, knew the people he was helping would attack the State Department consulate in the CIA annex on September 11th.
The limited sort of placeholder indictment that we've seen so far puts a lie to the administration's talking points about a spontaneous video and all the rest of it. I mean, this is 180 degrees from the administration's first talking points.
On the strength of their case, the government prosecutor seemed to tip his hand today, stating that there are, quote, novel legal issues to prosecuting the case here in Washington, given the 2012 attack took place thousands of miles away in Libya, and that the forensic evidence and witnesses are located there. Today, Judge Cooper, who is new to the bench in Washington and federal national security cases, set September 9th for the next trial date, saying that there are challenges ahead for the criminal case. Sean.
All right, Catherine, thank you so much. So why is the government only now deciding to change their tune and admit that the Benghazi attack was in fact premeditated? Now, for months on end, we heard, about a YouTube video. Joining us now with reaction, Fox News contributor DeRoy Murdoch. She is the co-host of the hit show The Five, Dana Perino. So this totally debunks, a total contradiction, totally undermines the tale that we were told, Dana.
But about the video being the spontaneous reason that all the protests happened and that all of a sudden 4 Americans were killed. I think actually that the American people kind of know that that was a made-up story. The problem is, to me, that our government hasn't admitted, the Obama administration has not admitted, that it did not have any sort of factual basis to say that the YouTube video caused it. Just listening to Catherine right now, I have to wonder if one of the reasons they did not arrest Abu Khattallah until now is because they were hoping to run out the clock because the evidence does not support what the administration was saying.
You know what? There were 5 major news organizations, the New York Times, the Times of London, CNN, our very own Fox News, and others, 5 that had access to this guy. We knew who he was, and we didn't do it. I think that is a brilliant point. Thoughts?
I think it's a very good point, and I think the reason you see this disparity between the story we heard before and the indictment is that back in the campaign of 2012, the theme was that General Motors is alive, Bin Laden is dead, and Al-Qaeda is on the run. Now, you can say that to the American people and hope you get reelected. You can say that to the press without any real repercussions. Yep. But when you're putting a document before a federal judge, you damn well better tell the truth, or you're guilty of filing false documents. So I think in this case, where they have to tell the truth, lest somebody else end up in jail, the truth finally comes out.
But it
versus
also
just lying to the
sadly,
American public or the media, and that's not such a big deal, I suppose.
But it also shows the strategy and the tactic of running out the clock. Oh, that's old news. Oh, pushing.
It was 2 years ago, dude.
I know, dude.
Remember? Remember that was it.
No, you're right.
That actually was going to be their argument.
Yeah.
That it was happened so long ago. What difference does it make?
Yeah.
Even though I know what she was saying when she said that. The other thing is, Sean, in this is that the indictment is less than 2 pages long. People who are familiar with how these types of indictments work say that that is remarkably, disturbingly short. That if the government has more information that they got from Khatallah on his long, slow boat ride to America,
why isn't it longer?
Why don't we have more information? Now, maybe it exists, maybe it's in some sort of secret lockdown. And then the third issue that the administration has to wonder about is, why did they bring him here? And if this is all they have, what are they going to do if
Are you saying you don't think a conviction on your read of it?
I don't know. I hope he's convicted, or I hope that if he's not, that they just
I agree. He doesn't belong there.
Else. I just don't. I think the decision to bring him here initially was the wrong one for the safety and security of Washington, D.C., and because of the precedent that it sets in fighting a global war on terror. This is not law enforcement. To me, it is terror, and he should have been at Gitmo.
You mentioned safety and security. There's a real contrast here as well between this guy, Catala, as he was being taken to court today. I think in a 4 or 5 car motorcade with security, with bodyguards, the whole thing, compared to these 4 American public servants who begged for more protection, who begged for somebody to step in when this thing started, and they were just left there to die. It's amazing that this guy, who's the perpetrator of this, or at least the alleged perpetrator, is so well protected, and the victims were just left to die in the sand.
Back to Dana's point, are you surprised that it's so short, too?
It does seem so, yeah. I've seen these documents before, and they usually go on and on with pages and pages of legalese. I mean,
maybe
it's not
they
the
have
length
more,
of
just to give them the benefit of the doubt. Maybe there is more that they're holding back.
That should be an indictment. Indictment should lay out the case.
There is one plausible scenario that as he's on his slow boat ride, he gives them information that provides intelligence strings that then tie back to other things so that they can try to find more information. And they don't want to reveal those because they don't want to give up the ghost and make those trails go away.
I wish that were the case. I doubt that with every fiber of my being.
I just am a really big believer in the giving the benefit of the doubt, which is probably not.
You're very generous.
When has President
very
Obama
generous.
ever gone against his radicalism? I want one sister soldier moment. It doesn't exist.
Killing bin Laden, that's what they would say.
Really? That's such a no-brainer.
And this is Eric Holder's department, and I think we've kind of run out of benefit of the doubt points for Eric Holder too.
All right, guys, good to see you both. Appreciate you being here.